Hello, everybody, and welcome to How to Make Map Updates here on this beautiful May 18th of 2021 day. My name is Jason Seskleba. As you can see here in our next slide, I have been with Concept 3D for over 5 years, this May, as a matter of fact, and it's been a pleasure working with all of our clients here on all of our projects as well as map updates. We are doing this map update webinar here to inform you on how to create a proper map update as well as to what types of data we need. As you can see, that's me, Jason Seskleba, and on this call also is my colleague, David Mantman. David.
Thank you for the warm intro, Jason. My name is David Mantman. I'm with Concept 3D for 3 years coming up this summer. So excited to get going, excited to show off how to do a map update. So let's kind of move on and talk about what we're going to be going over today. So we're going to talk about just a simple how to add map updates to the CMS. Then we're going to talk about, Jason's going to again hop into files types and just the general why and kind of what we need from y'all. Then we're going to talk about if you have a future project that maybe isn't live or isn't even close to being live, but we can kind of do an our end to help you out with that. Then we're going to do a quick demo on my end to chat about and show you exactly how to put in map updates. So let's hop into how to add map updates into the CMS. So the first step is to go into your CMS, log in, and then create a map updates with a specific year category. Now, where you're going to house that is underneath your Concept 3D production category. That's in every single map CMS that we have at Concept 3D if you're a client of ours. And underneath there, you then create a subcategory to call map updates, year, whatever you'd like to do with that. And then that's where you're going to start going into, our second point is to start creating locations for each type of map update needed, whether they're rendering updates, but again, you're going to assign every single location to that map updates for this year, specifically being 2021, that's housed underneath our Concept 3D production category. One thing to talk about is this also includes label edits as well. If you make a graphical rendering change or update some renderings on your map, that will also necessitate us to update the label along with it. So just one thing to think about is you can also add and change other labels that might be out of date if the building name is changed, or even in the future if it was, or in the past if it was missed. One thing I also want to touch on with this as well is if you're sending larger data files, like if you're sending a lot of site plans or sending a lot of elevations or even just pictures, and you just want to upload it all at once, we do recommend you use our upload data button that's in the top right corner of the CMS. And just, basically what you're going to do is create one large folder for the map update and then do a bunch of subfolders with it that correspond to each location that you've uploaded. Now, once all your location pins and data has been uploaded to the CMS, you can then email your designated client success manager to then get a quote on not only how much it is going to cost you, but also how long it is going to take. The fourth and final step is then the client success manager will find, after having putting all the data in there and making sure that's everything we need to create an accurate quote, we'll send you a quote once the change order is signed, and we will then begin your map updates. So great thing to then hop into, kind of let's expand about what, there's some of the things that we were kind of chatting about that Jason will kind of expand a little bit more on too. So.
Absolutely. Thank you, David. So, as David had mentioned, all the data that we need needs to be either in the location or if they are larger files to send them through the upload data button, because we will need all the data to generate that quote, as you can see right up here with this asterisk, as well as this asterisk for a timeline. So, it's always nice to know what kind of a timeline you expect, and we can also let you know what to expect from us. So, we normally allot 10 business days to make any map updates that you will need done after the change order is signed. So once we have that fully signed copy of the change order, we can put that into the production process. We can expedite projects as well, though that will we'll go for an additional fee because we always have a funnel of information. And if we have to push people, of course, we will need to put an additional fee on that for an expedition or to expedite that project. Does it always need 10 business days? No. Sometimes if it's just a small update, something needs to be deleted, or like David had mentioned with labels, a quick label change. No, it does not, but we do allot that for the norm. Below, you'll see 2 bullet points, one for file types and examples, as well as to how do I make map updates. Those are 2 help articles that we already have currently in the help site. and they will be in this webinar as well. So when you go to this webinar, you will see those links there, and it will lead you right to those exact help articles. Moving on to the next slide, we'll be speaking more to why we need the data that we need. So starting from the top at number 1, going down to number 5, I'll give you an explanation here. So with the site plans, we need the site plans because that gives us an exact replica of what that space is in relation to the foundation of the building, the parking lots, the landscaped areas, sidewalks, and so on. If we do not have that, it's going to be very hard to create that. So do reach out to your architects and or your facilities department to get these types of files, because it really improves the ability for us to quote as well as to do the work properly. The photos that you see here, or the architectural renderings, are based upon the data that we need for materials. So is it brown? Is it blue? Is it red? Is it yellow? Is it brick? Is it wood? Is it, whatever material comes to mind. So that is why we need the photos to understand what the material is. Along with that, if you do not have any sort of architectural renderings for a new place, or I'm sorry, for an existing place, that's okay. You can just go out there and take photos of the property itself. We do ask you to take a north, south, east, west photo of it, so we can have photos of each side. And you do not need any sort of high-end camera, DSLR. You can easily just do it with an iPhone. With that said, moving down to the elevations, you'll see right there, we need the elevations for one major note, and that is to really know the scale. Otherwise, we're just taking guesses and we're not going to be able to emulate properly. So we need to know, how big are those windows? Are they 10 foot? Are they 5 feet? How tall are floors? So that really helps us emulate and gives you exactly what you need. Moving forward from that, the models down below, the elevations, that really helps us expedite the process, so we're not building the new areas from the ground up. If you do have access to these models, mostly going to be, again, facilities and or your architect, please do send that along. That's going to be either a Revit file or a DWG. All of these file names are going to be in the actual help article called file types and examples. So to revisit that, you can review there, as well as send that help article on to either facilities and or your architect. And if they do have any further questions, please feel free to engage us as well. You can CC us on an email. And then at the bottom where there is the interiors, don't worry about that at all unless you absolutely or you are getting interiors done. And then what we ask is to give us the absolute cleanest PDF that you can. We have had people give us PDFs where there is electricity and plumbing and a whole bunch of stuff that we don't need on there. All that we need is, of course, walls, doorways, hallways, and foundation. So we know how to scale it to the building. And then, of course, it's a nice, clean drawing that we can utilize and create and make the interiors emulate what you have as interiors. One other quick note is that we do ask to have all the room labels that you want to have labeled in that PDF, and have them labeled accordingly to how you'd like to have them labeled. So with that said, we will move forward to future projects on our next slide. So we do have clients that do approach us with questions about, well, we have a project and we're going to be doing campus updates, but it's not going to be ready till 2023. It's signed, sealed, and delivered. We have the project scope. It's just not going to be built until then. That's awesome. That's great. And that's a great way to showcase some really awesome new stuff that's going to be coming to your campus, especially for prospective students. So as you can see in this Giphy here, we can tie renders to a category as well. So when we do the map update for you, they can then click on that. You can use it for marketing purposes, prospective student engagement, and so on. So all the same rules apply. We need all that information that's needed. We would just then upload it and attribute it to one of a specific category. And as you see fit, you can name it whatever you'd like. So with that said, we will be moving on to the next slide, which I believe is the demo. Is that correct, David?
It is. So thank you, Jason, for running us through file types and future projects, and even just kind of some additional data and things and resources for you all. But the next thing we're going to talk about is just hopping into chat about our Concept 3D University map we have here, and if we want to do map updates with this. So things I alluded to on my slide earlier is you want to create a category or a subcategory, I should say, that goes underneath our overarching Concept 3D production, category that we have here. I've already kind of created it. I also added, because I know that I'm going to be doing map updates on a quarterly basis or twice a year, 2021 summer map updates in here. You can see I've already added a couple in here. If I toggle them on, you'll notice that I've already added some locations, some basic information in them, but let's kind of go through how to do this, right? So earlier we were talking about label updates. So maybe to stay organized on your end, maybe I create a label updates 2021 subcategory here. I'm going to have this live within my 2021 summer map updates. And then let's just kind of do some label. We'll do one label change location, and then we'll also talk about this kind of upload data button here and talk about some other additional data we might need to upload if we're doing like a rendering change. So let's go into here. I need to click the publish button really quick to make sure I'm publishing that category specifically to my subcategory there so I can assign a location. So now I'm going to go into here. I'm going to do my first label change. So I'm going to change Channing Hall. So this is a great thing for our production team to understand. So the more information that you give our production team, the better chance they have to get it right. So I'm going to go into here and say label, please change this label to, or change, the Channing Hall label, we'll kind of call it that. Label to just the Channing building. So this is something that's a great thing that you can add. And just, again, the more information you add is not going to hurt you. So feel free to add anything else. If our production team has any questions, what they'll generally do is then do this note to client. And then they're going to add a little note here saying, where exactly does the label go? Any question that they'll have, they then will create a subcategory within there that says a button that says need data. So never feel that you're not putting in enough information, or feel that you're putting in too much, I guess I should say, but add in as much as you'd like in here. So does this label go? Last step, I'm just going to go assign this to, again, not only my 2020 summer map updates, but my label updates 2021. Click the save button. Oop, and I didn't drop my pen. And then let's go into one of this specific, let's do this building update here. So building changes, site plans attached. Again, if you say that, our production team is going to have a hard time understanding what that means. So just making sure that either you're attaching the file here and adding in here so they can see, oh, this is a site plan for this specific building, this area, or what you can do is if you've got a lot of site plans and you want to keep it organized, you don't feel like attaching all of them into here, is you can click on this little upload data button here. And it's going to go straight into, basically, you can place data for each edit into separate folders like I was talking about earlier. So you can create a map updates 2021 folder. And then what you can do is just have each subfolder in there match up to exactly what the location name is. So all I'm going to do is just drag and drop into here, add my name, the university I'm with, and then just your email. And just like that, we're pretty much done. So
Thanks a lot, David. And as a matter of fact, could you pop back to the CMS? And just for our clients that do have interiors, we should show you a quick little trick here. When you add an interior edit, the best thing that you should do is, before you're clicking on a location, is go to the floor like David had just done. And then from there, when you click on new location, it will automatically have the floor level chosen for you on the left-hand side. So just a quick tip on that. If you didn't open the floor to that level, it would still be on the exterior, even though you opened it up to a level. So just make sure that you are clicking on the proper floor level for any interior edits that you're doing as well.
That's a great point, Jason. So yeah, so exactly what Jason said, you can go in through here, make sure you're dropping that pin or highlighting the floors that you're changing, and just kind of what Jason said even earlier with the file types, adding in a really great and being descriptive, not only here and saying what exactly your interior update is, but also adding images to back up what our kind of production team needs to change here. So kind of with that, I think we're pretty much done with the demo portion. So we'll move into questions. And we just want to say thanks to everybody for hopping on and listening and this learning about map updates. And we will, if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to your designated client success manager or email support@concept3d.com. We'd be gladly to help out with any additional questions that you have about this map update process.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, David. This is Jason Susklaba, my colleague, David Mantelman. Have a beautiful day and let us know how we can help. Take care and talk soon.